Hello and welcome to Season 5, Episode 1 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and breaking news is that for the first time since Season 2, I am starting the new season at the same club I finished last season at. I didn't even apply for any jobs over the summer. I've committed myself to Exeter for another year, and this is the story of our pre-season. Coming up later in the show, I've got the first game of the season, which is away against Oxford in League 2. Hopefully we'll start the season off with a win. It's been a pretty successful pre-season. We've made some good signings, hopefully. We've made a couple of iffy ones as well, which, you know, that's my style. And yeah, really looking forward to the season ahead. So, if we just finish things off from the end of last season by closing that chapter, Graham Wesley signed a new contract with Peterborough after bringing them up to 21st in the Championship, saving them from relegation. So even though it says in the little message there he was one bad result away from getting the sack earlier in the season, but he has signed a new 2-year contract, so the chances of me going there anytime soon fairly slim. And then this happened. The chairman of Exeter decided he was going to step aside. Now, I panicked at this point because there's a lot of money knocking around in Exeter and he could quite easily take it with him. We could get a new chairman in who doesn't like me, who comes in with his new ideas. So, lost a little bit of the stability that I was hoping for, but it isn't a takeover, it's just a promotion from within. And luckily, they didn't put a transfer embargo on us, which sometimes happens when you're things are messing around with the board. Interestingly, on the same day it was announced that the Boston United chairman was doing the same thing, and obviously Boston is where I started off 5 seasons ago now. I was offered a job interview. Carlisle United, they finished 21st in League 1, which is a relegation spot, so they're going to be down in League 2 with Exeter next season. I declined the interview. I've got no interest in moving to a club. I mean, really, I'm living in Exeter at the moment, putting realism mode on. Carlisle is about as far away as I imagine. It's actually the furthest away club from my current house I could get to while staying in England. And, you know, they're in the same league as us. I imagine their financial situation isn't going to be as good as ours. Why on earth would I want to go there? So, yeah, just decline the interview. Not interested. England won the first international league over the summer. I'm still not entirely sure what the international league is. Apparently it's going to be a thing in real life. When it comes around to being the final in 2019, England probably won't win it, but they did in this, which just shows internet Football Manager, football is mental. Recap of last season: Arsenal won the Premier League, Derby won the Championship, Rotherham won League 1, as we know, Crewe won League 2 with a ridiculous 35 goals from Jack McKay. That's the kind of player we need. 21 assists from James Bree as well. Oh, if we could get just one player of that kind of quality, we would destroy this division. Grimsby won the conference as well. And that was my big money signing of the summer, Tom Youngs. Now, you might remember Tom Youngs from a couple of seasons ago. I signed him when I was at York. He wasn't electrifying when he was there. He was only 22. He'd scored a lot of goals on loan at York the previous season, came in with me as a free transfer, and then did okay. Scored quite a few goals for York last season in the conference, so 235,000 is more than I ideally would have wanted to pay for him. But the thing I like about Tom Youngs is he's got the ability to play as an advanced forward. He can play as a deep line forward, but also crucially he can play as a shadow striker, tucked into that Ryan Donaldson role that we were using at the end of last season. And I am thinking that that's the system I'm going to use this season. I'll show you it in a bit more depth in a few minutes. And Tom Youngs comes in able to play in any of those three more advanced attacking positions we're going to have in that system. Yeah, it's a bit of a risk because he's unproven in the Football League, and he didn't really work for me last time, but we're playing a completely different style of football now, albeit at a higher level. So, yes, I might have wasted a transfer fee. I've only got him on a 1-year contract as well, so if he does start banging in the goals, I'm going to have to tie him down to a longer deal fairly quickly. But I've been very wary this summer of bringing people in on big money on long contracts. I'd rather spend a little bit more on the transfer fee and then not have to pay the price on the wage bill later. It's probably a little bit counterintuitive, but if you remember last season, the amount of players we couldn't get rid of, that's the thinking behind that. I want to have the flexibility to be able to bring players in as the season goes on, and we have left a little bit of slack in the wage budget this summer, which is something I haven't been able to do before. So Tom Youngs, first player to come in. That's it. That's him. If you remember him, he's just a good all-round attacking footballer. It doesn't actually show on there that he can play as a shadow striker, as an advanced attacking midfielder. I think he's got the stats to be able to do that. We're just going to start retraining him into that straight away. and hopefully before too long, he'll be fairly comfortable playing there as well. But I'll have no qualms about playing him there now, even if he doesn't feel that he's ready for it. We also signed a player I'm familiar with from real life, Paul Taylor, on a free transfer. He's 31 years old. He played for Posh 5 years ago in real life now, probably. Came in on a free transfer, had a cracking season in the Championship for us at the time. We sold him to Ipswich for over £1 million. His career's sort of stuttered a little bit from there, and he's never really got going again since. But to bring this lad in on a free transfer on fairly modest wages, I know he's 31 years old, but look at those technical abilities. His dribbling, his first touch, his flair. I mean, he's a game changer. Yeah, he might not be the hardest working player in the world, and he's a little bit injury prone. But you know, when he's on the pitch, he has the ability to really, really do some special things from that shadow striker role in our team. So he comes in to definitely play in that role when he's fit, because he's got himself injured almost immediately on arriving, which I think I'll tell you about in a minute. We've signed a new. Well, he's officially a right winger. Adam Drury came in on a free transfer from Blackpool. He's 25 years old. He's officially a right midfielder, but I've brought him in to be a challenger to Cameron Gale in the right wing back position. He's already competent playing as a right wing back. I think looking at his stats, he could very much play in that position. Gale's 29 now, I think, so a little bit of forward planning, and also in the interests of putting some pressure on Gale and not letting ourselves get into the situation we were in last season, where Gale getting injured completely derailed our promotion push. We've now got two pretty decent options at right wing back, in the same way as we've got two pretty decent options at left wing back in the shape of Tilney and Tutonda. We signed Owen Garvin, continuing our policy of bringing in a little bit more experience this time around. 31 years old, signed from Wigan. You've probably come across him or heard of him in real life. He's on quite a lot of money, but he's got bags and bags of experience at a higher level, absolutely oozing with quality, and can play in central midfield, deep line midfielder, attacking midfielder. So there's 4 potential spots that open up to him in our side, and just the combination of experience, and look at those mental attributes, look at those technical attributes. There's very little that's ducking below a 10 on his stats, and it just seemed like a no-brainer to bring this guy in on a free transfer. We then spent a bit more money. Adam Chapman, 29 years old, a defensive midfield player, comes in from Mansfield for 160,000. He's primarily a central midfielder. I'm going to be playing him in the holding midfield role, probably as an anchor man, or I might tweak that as time goes on. But we're going to be playing a diamond midfield with wing backs. We tried it a little bit towards the end of last season. I think we experimented with it against Bristol Rovers on a live com as well. And I see this guy as able to play as the anchor man, but also able to cover further forward as one of the 2 midfielders as well, as needs must. We signed another striker, Jonathan Abika, 28 years old, another player who's got connections to Posh in real life, albeit from a loan spell for about 3 weeks years ago. But he's got a proven track record in League 1 and League 2, capable of scoring a lot of goals, can play as a target man, false 9, advance forward. He's quick, he's a good finisher, he's fairly strong, good in the air as well. So just kind of an all-round decent looking striker, and at this level I think he has the potential to score a hatful of goals for us, which is exactly what we were missing from our team last season. I certainly don't think we had anyone last year with the potential to score goals that Abika or even Tom Youngs bring to the team this time around. There have been a few players leave. There was some contracts up. Most notable players who left on free transfers due to contracts being up. We lost Ryan Donaldson. Suleimani Koulibaly has gone. Isaiah Osborne has gone. I can't think of anyone else who featured particularly regularly for us last season. But we've let a few players go on transfers as well. So Dean Winnard was our club captain last season. Doesn't really fit into the system we want to be playing. He seems to think he's a centre-back. I think he's a right-back. We don't play with a right-back, we play with a right wing-back, and our right wing-back just happens to be the best player at the club as well. So, yeah, Dean Winnard, sorry, you're on your way. He's gone to Rotherham on a free transfer to free up some wage budget. And then we also managed to completely rip Rotherham off by selling Quade Taylor to them for 115,000. This is the centre-back we brought in from Blackpool during the transfer window in January. He played about 3 games for us, made an absolute howler, costing us a goal in each one of those 3 games, and never appeared for us again. For us to get back almost all our money from him seems insane, but very happy to get him off the books. We've then brought in yet another attacking midfield player, Daniel Trickett-Smith. This guy comes in on a free transfer. He's only 23 years old, loads of potential, lots of potential future ability. Can play as a shadow striker, advanced playmaker, attacking midfielder. Again, fitting that model for this summer of lots of good level technical abilities, good mental abilities, and fairly fit and quick as well. So I'm very happy to have him around, and again, he can play in attacking midfield or back in the central midfield position. So we've got lots of options there now. The trick is going to be balancing them all and keeping them all happy. We've brought in another centre-back. It wouldn't be an Exeter transfer window without signing a centre-back. Jack O'Connell, 25 years old, has come in on a free transfer. He's a left-sided centre-back, which is something we're missing. We only had Niall Canavan at the club, who was left-footed, who could play centre-back for us. And O'Connell just looks better than any of our centre-back options that we've got at the moment. The idea of having this guy and the peg alongside each other at the back looks quite appealing. And we've obviously got lots of quality in the other centre-backs that we've already got at the club as well. So hopefully we'll maintain our form of last season of being very, very comfortable defensively. I finished my Continental A licence and am now already studying for my Continental Pro licence, which is going to take me about another year. And what that means is once we get to this time next year, so the end of season 5, I'm going to be as qualified as you can get as a coach, at which point my actual coaching attributes will improve when I'm doing training, because while you're doing your coaching badges, you're less effective actually doing training. So hopefully with all these coaching badges and all the experience I'm getting, I'll be able to get involved in some actual coaching from next season onwards, which will be very handy. And then the pre-season friendlies started. First one, we were away at Bath. We beat them 3-1. Goals from Novak, Trickett-Smith and Forrester. Paul Taylor, this is when he got injured. He's injured his hip. He's out for 4 to 5 months. I did mention he was injury prone, but at 31 years old, that's a bit of a worry. Hopefully he'll come back into the side around Christmas time and just give us a boost and be awesome for the rest of the season. But if his last 3 or 4 years of his career or anything to go by, he'll probably just get injured again as he's getting fit. And there's a good chance we'll never see this guy play in an Exeter shirt, but I knew he was a risk when I signed him. The board have downgraded me all the way to secure in my job now. I've gone from untouchable down to very secure, down to just secure. They're happy with the way we're managing the club finances. They're very happy with Sam Foley, who I almost sold over the summer, but decided to keep hold of and actually made club captain as well. They still don't like Lee Novak. I'm not that impressed with his contribution last season either, but hopefully he'll have a better season this time around. The board are also planning to invest in our training facilities. They're spending £750,000 on that. It's not going to be complete for over a year though, so there's a good chance I won't still be at the club to see that happen. My contract only runs until next summer, and if we don't get promoted this time around, I'll very much be looking to move on into League One next summer, with or without Exeter. I guess if we get promoted, I might stick around, but if we get promoted, I'm more likely to get offered a good job somewhere else. So it's probably going to be my last season at Exeter this season, but at least I'm going to leave a bit of a legacy. And then we went to Dorchester. We beat them 6-0. I don't ever remember seeing my Exeter side score 6 goals, friendly or no friendly. Really encouraging to see Jonathan Abika get a first-half hat-trick. And then other goals from Owen Garvin, Anton Forrester and Declan McManus. And we were just very, very impressive in that match. And then as we're at the start of Season 5, I thought I'd just show you my manager profile. A couple of people have asked about this now. So that shows that I'm primarily a fitness or tactic or technique coach. Not much carpet coaching, defending, attacking or goalkeepers. My preferred formation at the moment is a 5-3-2. I guess that's just picking it based on the formation I played most recently, because over the course of my career I've played 4-4-2 more than anything. Disappointingly, my win percentage is only 40%, which, considering we've won a title, we've got into the playoffs, we've narrowly missed out on the playoffs, and then we did have a relegation as well. But over 4 seasons, I'd expect the win percentage to be higher than 40%, because apart from that one relegation season, it's been fairly successful so far. So that surprised me a little bit. I'd like to see that increase. But yeah, that's me. And that's the summary of my career so far. So at this stage, managed 3 clubs. The longest I've ever been at a club was the 704 days I was at Boston. My shortest time at the club is exactly 365 days, which I guess was York. So I obviously left them a year after I left Boston. So I guess Exeter are now slightly over that. I was surprised that I've already spent £1.7 million, especially because I didn't have any money to spend until I arrived at Exeter. So I really have been throwing the money around since I've been at this club. And I've only brought in £600,000 worth of transfers, again, pretty much all at Exeter. Doesn't tell the whole story, because there was also £1.5 million of a transfer clause that came in during that time as well. So I would claim I'm actually still running at a net profit for transfers at Exeter, but it obviously doesn't include that in that number. And that is what the board are expecting of me this season. So their minimum expectation is the playoffs, which we did it last year, and I think we've got a better team this year, so hopefully we'll be just as good this time around. They want the second round of the FA Cup. They don't care about the Capital One Cup, and they want the quarter-final of the Johnson's Paint Trophy. So yeah, hopefully a playoff push is on the cards again for us this year. And this is the slightly tweaked version of the system we were using for the last couple of games of last season that we're going to be using this time around. As you can see, I've also secured James McKenna on loan for another season. He didn't play a huge number of games for us last season, but as we're now going to be playing with a defensive midfielder, I thought I'm going to struggle to find a better one than him. Let's bring him back to the club. So we're going to be playing with 2 defenders. Today it's going to be Jack O'Connell and George Ray. The peg is on the bench, but really the 3 of them are all perfect, are all very, very good, and probably too good for League Two, really. With James McKenna just in front of him, that could just as easily be Chapman, but I'm going for McKenna today just because I'm bringing a few other new signings into the side and I don't want to disrupt things too much. Our usual wing-backs of Tilney and Gale, I've switched them to automatic instructions just to allow me to be a little bit more flexible over the mentality throughout the game. If I switch to a defensive mentality, for example, I'd like to think that's going to then drop them further back and mean I don't have to keep fiddling with their individual instructions as I want to change the game. Central midfield, we've got Marlon Pack playing as a box-to-box midfielder and Owen Garvin as a central midfielder, both on support. That's a very, very good central midfield partnership for this level as well. And then up front, we've got Jonathan Abika and Anton Forrester with Daniel Trickett-Smith just behind them. I think that team could win League Two. The only reason it won't is because I've messed up the tactic, because actual individual player quality-wise, I think that's about as good as it gets at this level, especially when you look at our bench. On the bench, we've got Jake Turner, who's a very good backup goalkeeper for this level. The Peg, club captain Sam Foley, who was he was runner-up for player of the season last year, won signing of the season. Lee Novak, who we spent £100,000 on and has a career in League One and Championship football. David Tutonda, who was the best player when I arrived at the club a year ago, but lost his place to Tilney fairly early on. Adam Chapman, who we've just spent £100,000 on, and Declan McManus, who has got 5-star potential, hasn't actually started achieving any of it at the moment, but maybe at some point this season. And to have players like Adam Drury, Tom Youngs, Ryan McConnell, Jack Rolls not able to even get on our bench, I'm pretty happy with the strength in depth we've got this season. I just need to keep some of these guys happy, because I'm definitely going to be using them all. Chris Atkinson, not that bothered about, but the rest of them, we need to be doing a bit more rotation this season to try and keep players happy. But fingers crossed, we can start the season off with a win against Oxford today. This is where we're going to get absolutely battered, I imagine. So they're playing a 4-4-2. I feel like that might play into our hands a little bit with the well, it's kind of an attacking diamond, I guess. And yeah, show me what you can do. That didn't work at all. So let's say, yeah, there you go. You're happy with that. Midfield, I do want you to control the game. That's why we're playing the diamond now, and I absolutely want our strikers to go out there and get some goals, because that was the big thing that we were missing last season. So the season has begun. We haven't scored yet. Mind you, neither have they, so I suppose that's a positive. Oh, that was risky ball from Ray, but McKenna sort of rescued it. And it was good to see McKenna dropping all the way back in between the two centre-backs. That's exactly how I want him to be when we're defending. I want us to be dropping back effectively into a free at the back system that we used last season when we're defending, but with McKenna having the option to push on a little bit when we've got the ball. My thoughts are that it's basically a 5-3-2, 3-5-2 when we're defending. And then becomes a sort of 3-4-3 when we attack. That wasn't what we wanted though. We've already conceded a goal. We're only 9 minutes into the match. Who are we blaming for this? Let's have a look. So McKenna's flat with the back three, so we've got no issues there. But I mean, we've just let Arona get in behind us. Is that a lack of pace in our defence? Is that a defensive line that's too high? I don't know that I'm necessarily blaming the system for that one just yet. Let's go and get an equaliser straight away. So McKenna's got the ball, finds Trickett Smith, who finds a Beaker, and the ball over the top. We are playing quite a high defensive line. I don't think we have high defensive line switched on, but either way, that seems to be what we're doing. We might have to drop a little bit deeper because they've got some space in behind us again here, and that almost cost us again. Do I drop deeper now? Oh dear. We're getting a bit of a battering here. I'm not sure where Oxford were last season. I've got a horrible feeling they were in the conference, but perhaps they've just been relegated from League One. I don't remember playing them last season though. I didn't even look to see if we were favourites before the match or not. I assume we probably weren't. We've got a corner. Garvin with the cross. Back out to Garvin again. Crosses in again, and Ray hits the crossbar. Pack with his follow-up shot goes straight to their goalkeeper. I mean, we're not playing too badly. I'm not panicking just yet. We've got another corner. McKenna takes this one. Bit risky having McKenna taking the corners. I might need to have a look at that because obviously he's supposed to be our anchor man. If he's that far forward, we're leaving ourselves open to counter-attacks. Gale does really well to win the ball back there. McKenna now to Pack, who Abika's struggling to get into this game. There's been a few times the ball sort of bounced off him. Tilney with a chance to get a cross in now finds Garvin, and there's Abika, and he hits the post. We've now hit the woodwork twice. Yeah, we're definitely creating chances. This is more than we were doing last season. Yes, we're 1-0 down, but we're doing well for possession, and we're creating chances. We've hit the crossbar, we've hit the post. I'm not panicking yet. At the same time, I'm not particularly pleased that we're 1-0 down on the first day of the season, because we have looked so good in pre-season. Yeah, that's not been good enough. I'm only going to be assertive today. I'm not going to scream and shout at them just yet. Yeah, I do expect a much better showing in the second half. That's motivated some of you, hasn't it? Right. Come on, let's go out there. Get a goal quickly. Gale to Pack. To Trickett Smith. A Beaker's dropped very deep there. But it's found Tilney. Tilney finds Garvin to Pack. We're passing the ball around really nicely. We just need to get it in the box. We need a little bit of killer instinct. And that, again, I thought I'd solved that problem. With bringing in the likes of Trickett Smith, a Beaker. I know Paul Taylor, obviously he's injured, but Tom Youngs, who I haven't even got on the bench. I'm the worst manager in the world. We're going to be making a change soon. I don't think I'm going to change the system. I think I'm fairly happy with how the system is working, but we just still seem to be lacking bite up front. Forrester finds Tilney. Garvin. We've certainly got more quality in midfield this year. That's a good through ball to Trickett Smith, and that was a clear-cut chance. He should have done better with that. And now we're level for clear-cut chances, which is always a good way of judging how a system is working, as far as I'm concerned. Not worry too much about the scoreline, because goals can randomly appear from anywhere, like there. I mean, that's just a cross. Yes, we're 2-0 down, but clear-cut chance-wise, we're level. So a little bit more luck at either end, and we wouldn't be losing. That being said, we are losing, and we need to do something about that. So what can we do? Trickett Smith is not having a good game. Owen Garvin could push forward, so what I might do is bring on Sam Foley for Trickett Smith. Push Garvin up to play behind the front two. And I need to mix the front two up a little bit, so Let's bring Novak on for Forrester. Stick a Beaker up front because he's done nothing as a deep line forward. And let's give that a try. Might even be worth going attacking, actually. Let's go attacking. Let's go and try and win this football match, or at least get back into it. Nothing's happening. You make the changes, it makes no difference. Oh, this isn't the first game of the season we wanted. I'll perhaps get sacked. Perhaps that's why this will be my last season at Exeter. Because we just look absolutely toothless in this game. We may as well make our last change, but the previous one made no difference at all. Jonathan Abika has been absolutely useless. Let's pull him off. Stick McManus on up front. Perhaps this will be the season McManus stakes a claim on a place in our squad. He's on borrowed time, really. He's lucky to still be around because he had a poor season last year. He's only still at the club because I couldn't really bring in a whole 4 new strikers, which is what I wanted to do, really. But I couldn't find 4. But then I brought in 2, and I've got 3 of last season's ones in the team today, so I'm clearly an idiot anyway. Pack finds McManus. It goes out to Tilney. Tilney to McManus. No, nothing happening again. And that is that. We've lost 2-0. Yeah, I am disappointed with that. There we go. If you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss out on future episodes. Thanks very much for watching.